Giving our opening talk is Manu Garcia-Guillen. Manu is a French-Spanish citizen, and she's also a Bodhisattva nun practicing at the Chogye International Zen Center of New York. She also teaches meditation at Columbia University's Buddhist Association. Professionally, she works as a school teacher and is the author of Do Nothing, a meditation book for kids. I found that on your website, by the way. She's also a pro bono psychotherapist and chaplain in training. Manu is an animal lover, mostly cats, but occasionally other creatures too, such as rats and humans. And answering questions today is Zen Master Dae Kwang. He's been a monk since 1987 and received transmission in 1996. Zen Master Dae Kwang has traveled widely, leading retreats throughout North America, Europe, and Asia, including 90-day retreats in Korea. His interests include meditation practices common to Christians and Buddhists. He currently resides here at the Providence Zen Center. So thank you both for appearing.
Thank you. Good morning. So I'm going to talk about one of my favorite topics ever, which is emotions. So through the years, everybody feels emotion, everybody feels strong emotion sometimes, but over the years I came to the realization that I feel particularly strongly emotions. And so I have always been interested, I think that's why I was interested in psychology, psychoanalysis, all this field, because I wanted to understand all that, to know what to do with all that. I think it's also what brought me to Zen practice. And on the path in my practice, I had several questions around that. And the questions evolved with time. So at the beginning it was, okay, how do I get rid of my negative emotions? And then I learned that I was labeling, emotions in terms of positive, negative. Okay, so I went, okay, how do I get rid of my difficult emotions? But it was still how do I get rid of suffering, right? And so with practice, the question transformed a little bit because I understood pretty quickly that was an illusion. It's an illusion to expect to be totally free from suffering, to live a life without any suffering, right? So the question became after, okay, how do I deal with my suffering? Or what can I do with my suffering? Or how do I use my suffering? And little by little, the Zen taught me that there was even another way, which was the way of acceptance. And the question finally became, okay, how do I accept my suffering? Which means stopping to try to, because, how do I deal with emotions, with suffering? But the word deal is very interesting, right? Because it means that you're still trying to negotiate something, right? So what happens if you stop negotiating and you just accept it? So there is a poem from the Persian poet Rumi that I really love. It's called The Guest House. I'm not going to tell the whole poem, but basically it says, this being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. And then later it says, welcome and entertain them all, be grateful for whoever comes. So in that poem, the guests, the new arrivals, are the emotions. And it's true, every morning it's a new stream of emotions, new moods, new emotions, you don't know why, but it's like every morning it's kind of different, right? So I think this poem illustrates very well that. But so once you understand that, even though understanding, getting it is not enough, it's the same. It's not the same as living it. But with practice, when you become a kind of experienced practitioner, there is another question that comes with that, which is okay. In that trying to accept my suffering, accept my emotions, what exactly does acceptance mean? What is what we should accept from the emotion, and what is what we can still try to change or regulate? Or does it mean we have to accept everything, or when, or which part of what? And it's not, sometimes it's easy to answer that question, but sometimes it's really not easy, right? I practice hypnosis, and I can tell you hypnosis is extremely effective to relieve a certain kind of suffering. So it would be silly, knowing that that's possible with hypnosis or other things. It would be silly, to say, oh, no, thank you. I know I have to accept my suffering, right? So what does it mean to accept exactly? So last summer, I went for a few months. I was very unwell in my life. Because of several reasons that I wasn't feeling well, and as a result, in that period, for some reason, it was hard for me to still go to my Zen Center and practice there as often as I used to do. And so during that period, for a few months, going to the sauna became my main practice. And it's still today my alternative practice, even though I'm fully back to my Zen Center. And I want to talk about my second favorite topic ever after emotion, which is sauna. So, during consulting interviews, I often heard people saying, oh, these days I don't feel like meditating, I feel that I need to run, or I prefer swimming, I really need to swim, it makes me feel good, and that. And I'm always saying, sure, well, do it. I think there's no reason, to be dogmatic when people need to take a break from the sitting or that, because very often what happens when someone feels the need or a call to do something that seems maybe a little bit more alive than just sitting, very often it brings them back later to the sitting with a better understanding of what sitting really is and means. When there is a call, it's for a reason sometimes. And it's what happened to me with sauna practice. So the first time I went to a sauna, from my memory, maybe I went before, but the first time I got hooked in something. It was a few years ago. I sat the winter Chogye, here, the intensive winter meditation retreat at the monastery up there. And in the winter, during the week, in the schedule, there is a 30 minutes sauna. And it's not mandatory, but it's instead of sitting at that moment, you can go to the sauna. So as you're pretty much sitting all day, a lot of people go to the sauna, right? So just to change. And something really, I got hooked on that day. It's really, I don't know, I felt well. And it happened that in the past few years, I traveled a lot to northern countries. I went to Iceland, Sweden, Norway, Suomi, which is the real name of Finland, by the way, Suomi. And little by little, by going to those places and of course going to sauna there, I became totally addicted to going to a sauna. And honestly, I think today I can write a full guide about all the best saunas in Helsinki and in Reykjavik. And if during Sangha weekends, when I'm here at PCC, if you're looking for me, there's 90% chances that I'm at the sauna, which is somewhere in the building. I won't say where exactly, because the least people know, the better it is. And so, the first time I realized that sauna practice, we can call it like that, sauna practice wasn't just a body-involved thing. It's when I started to practice it the Scandinavian way, which is that after going to the sauna, right after, so which is, you expose your body to a very extremely hot temperature, right after, you go usually to do a cold plunge in a very freezing water. And so, and after you go back to the sauna, and then you go back to do a cold plunge. So basically, you are like submitting voluntarily your body to a kind of thermal shock by doing that. A safe thermal shock. It's usually safe, contrary to what we think, unless you had a very big meal before, it's safe. But it's still a thermal shock. And even when your body is used to it, it's always painful when you go inside the cold plunge. Really, it's even you don't feel cold. It's worse than that. I think your body is totally. You feel pain. It feels like needles all over your body. And yet, a lot of people who do that get addicted to doing that too. But strange. And I can tell you, I'm French and Spanish. I'm Mediterranean. Never in my life I would have guessed that I would be addicted to jumping in the Arctic, in the Baltic, as I did, and I did it, and I really loved it. But so, by doing that over and over, one first thing I discovered is that it doesn't only make your body become more resilient to that thermal shock, but it also makes your mind more resilient to hot and cold of daily life, hot and cold of relationship. Really, I really felt that it made my mind more resilient to that. It even happened sometimes when I knew that I was going to face a delicate or difficult situation. I have told myself sometimes, okay, it will be okay. It's like when you jumped into the Arctic, you will survive, and right? So, there is this koan, very famous, that goes like that. A monk asked Tenzin, when cold and heat come, how can we avoid them? Tenzin said, why don't you go to the place where there is no cold or heat? The monk said, what is that place? Tenzin replied, when it's cold, the cold kills you. When it's hot, the heat kills you. And so after, I don't remember exactly how the question is shaped, but anyway, koan questions are always pointing to the same thing anyway, right? So there is a question about that. Well, if one of you is working currently on this koan, really, go to the sauna, go to a very cold plunge after, and I'm sure I promise it will help you a lot to get the answer, really. Right? But so, more recently, beyond that heat and cold thing, going to the sauna taught me something else also about emotions and about our nature and what we are. So, let me explain again, right? In the sauna, you are exposing your body to a very extremely hot temperature. And so you sweat a lot. You sweat like a lot and a lot and a lot. And so when you leave the sauna, whether or not you do a cold plunge, you have to drink a lot of water to rehydrate yourself. And then you repeat. You go back to the sauna, you sweat a lot, maybe the new water that you just incorporated, and then you go out and you have to drink, again, a lot of water. And by the way, our body is made of 60% water, more or less. So that's huge. And so it's very funny because by doing that, you're sweating something that your body must be made of, right? And then you are incorporating new of this element, water, and sweating it again. And so it's a kind of cycle like that. And there is something very, regenerative in that. It's a deep cleansing thing, from inside. And you really can feel it, you feel it. Last time I went to Helsinki, I got sick in the plane. So I was, oh, come on. It's the beginning of my vacation there, and I'm sick. And on the first day, I was, okay, what about I go to the sauna just to see if maybe I won't do the cold plunge after, but just to see if it helps. I went, and it's the shortest cold I ever had in my life. It's right after it was over, but because I think it was I wouldn't recommend it as a treatment for everything, but when it's the very beginning, you're not feeling super well, maybe a virus was trying to get in, and this deep cleansing made it fix the situation right away. Yeah, it was kind of impressive. So, one day, in Helsinki still, I wasn't feeling well emotionally. And so I told myself, I was in that sauna, I was sweating, and I told myself, oh, okay, what about I imagine that my sweat, this water leaving my body, is carrying also the difficult emotions I have inside. And when I told that to myself, suddenly it struck me. I thought, but wait, isn't it what we do when we sit anyway? Aren't we sweating our emotions when we sit? And suddenly I had a kind of, a clear insight about our sitting practice, and it was kind of a perfect metaphor. So in both situations, inside a sauna and in sitting in a Dharma room, in both situations, first we are vulnerable, because in both situations we are kind of naked. In a sauna, you are really physically naked or half naked. In the Dharma room, well, you are kind of emotionally naked, sitting still in a big room with a lot of other people, but it's an extremely vulnerable situation. You can't move, you can't speak, you're here. Everybody sees you. There is nowhere to hide. If tears come, well, tears come. There is nowhere to hide them. So in both situations, first you are very vulnerable. And it seems that in our sitting meditation, it seems that the stillness is acting like the heat inside the sauna. It brings to the surface, something that was buried inside, in the sauna, it's water. So on your cushion when you're sitting, it's emotions, Sometimes it happens, not always, but everybody had that kind of experience during a meditation to have sometimes a very strong emotion that comes up that you even didn't know it was here, because it was deeply buried inside, and this deep cleansing, it's bringing it to the outside, to the surface, right? And so on the moment, it's painful, because you feel it even more, like the water on your skin in the sauna. But maybe it's something that needed to find their way out of your body, right? If you have ever taken magnesium supplement, it is used sometimes to relieve stress and makes you sleep better.
Taking what?
Magnesium.
Oh, magnesium.
Yeah, to sleep better and to relieve stress. But when you do it, I did once, and when you do it at the beginning for the few first nights, it's not like you don't feel that it's working at all, because you have like crazy dreams, like very emotionally charged, wild dreams for several nights. And in fact, it's the same process. It's that in reality, through those dreams, it's deep emotions that are, like it's the deep cleansing inside that is making those emotions find their way out. But so, what I found interesting is that in this cleansing process, when you sweat and then you drink and you sweat again and you drink again, well, you realize that even though your body is made of 60% of water, your body is not water. You can really understand that in the sauna, that your body is the container that welcomes new water, sweat the water, welcomes new water again, sweat the water. And in fact, it's the same with our emotions. I know we say that, we hear that a lot, you are not your emotions, but if I hope this metaphor with the sauna helps you get it maybe in a different way. Like, it's the same. We are sweating our emotions, and then new emotions will come, and we are not the emotions themselves. We are the container that welcome emotions the time they're here. So it's, in terms of acceptance of suffering, it's kind of relieving, to see that temporary thing, that's to realize that. However, there is a trap. The trap here is to become attached to the emptiness of the container. Because the emptiness happens very rarely, to not say never, because in this cleansing process, in fact, you are making room, just your body in the sauna, by sweating water, is just making room for new water to come, right? And your mind is the same. With emotions leaving your body, it's just making room for new emotions to come, and sometimes new difficult emotions. But it's still, you can still feel the temporarity of it, the temporarity of emotions. And that's kind of relieving a little bit and making maybe acceptance a little bit easier. So that's why, going back to Rumi's poem, I just wanted to point that, he uses the word guest. He said, treat each guest honorably. So a guest is, of course, someone you should welcome with respect, it's a guest. But it also implies that a guest is not someone who will live here forever, right? A guest is just a temporary resident. And you are just the container, you are the Airbnb. Nobody wants to live in an Airbnb forever. It's too expensive anyway, so just welcome the guests very well for the time they are staying here. So, I think we can just let it sweat. When I hear now, the song, let it go, let it go. I can't tell myself, but hearing now, let it sweat, let it sweat. And sometimes when I'm sitting and something difficult comes, let it sweat. So, winter Chogye is around the corner. So for whoever will participate, I just wish you a great sweating there. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Just pass the mic on. You go ahead. Good morning, everybody. So are there any questions? Did I bring up any questions?
Did you know about the sauna?
Yeah, I built it. And one thing you don't think about is that unit is always breaking down, so we always have to replace the heating unit, right? And that's expensive. Meditation is cheaper, that's for sure.
Like you, Sanim, I was in Korea. We did a lot of sauna over there.
Right.
And over there in Korea, there's a sign by the cold water saying that if you have your heart is not strong, don't hop in. It isn't because of a stomach ache. You can have a heart attack in that. So it's kind of... But I've done it so many times that I found that it would drain my body of the energy, so I don't do it anymore.
Yeah,
but if you got aches and pains, it's great. Anyway, having said that, my question is, how are you today? No. Yeah. So could you speak? I know that you haven't been because, of course, you're older person. Could you talk a little bit about bowing and how that worked for you in your
Right.
yeah.
So you can think about going to the sauna as a kind of technique, right? So in fact, she spoke about it that way. And bowing, all of the things that we do, like chanting and bowing and sitting, are just different techniques to allow you to see your mind. So what she likes about the sauna is it allows you to see your emotions and stuff. So, and that's true of these other techniques. So you may like them or not like them. Like, I love chanting. Some people hate chanting. I love chanting in Korean because I don't know what the hell I'm chanting. And the English parts are... So those are just techniques. So the trick behind them all, whether you're going to a sauna or jumping into a frozen ocean, or in the... Is that you that jumped in the pond in the winter?
It's mostly Eddie.
Oh, Eddie. Yeah. So anyway, those are all techniques to allow you to see your mind, or that's one way to think of them, you know. And they aren't actually special. And you can shift from one to the other. You can go to the sauna, or you can start bowing or chanting or something. So they're not special. They're just techniques to allow you to see something. And it always amazed me. One thing amazing about Buddhism, particularly, and this focus on technique rather than belief, is that it allows you to see something, and in this case, to let go of it. So when you're in the sauna, I guess you're letting go of moisture, hopefully, because your body naturally wants to protect itself. And when you jump in the frozen pond, it locks up, you know, like really tight. I've done many saunas in all those countries you mentioned. It's scary sometimes. But they're just techniques. So it allows you to see how your mind works. And then you can let go. I prefer the term letting go to, you're not getting rid of your emotions, you're not changing them, you're just letting go of them. In other words, you can just kind of let them be, and if you'll notice, if you just let them be, then they can't control you. So you detach from them. That's why we call it detachment. So all those things allow you to do that, or help you to do that, or actually experience doing it, which is the important thing. It's not about believing in Buddhism or the Buddha or anything. That's crap. It's about experiencing it so that it's yours. It's not somebody else's idea. It's not God or Jesus' idea. It's your direct experience. So Zen is all about direct experience, not belief. If you come around here much, you'll probably notice we don't give a crap what you believe. I mean, we maybe give a crap, but I mean, we respect belief, but we don't attach to it. So that's the key point, is detachment. So it's not that it isn't there. Like, I have feelings about Germans, I'm sure, inside me somewhere, but I don't attach to those feelings, hopefully. And then you can be more open and compassionate towards them, which is the function of the whole thing, is to make you compassionate, not the monster that most human beings are. Like, just yesterday afternoon, this guy shot a whole bunch of people at Brown University. What? So what's going on with that guy? So they haven't said anything about him, although they have arrested a suspicious character, whatever that means. A person of interest, excuse me. It's an interesting term, I always like that. So, kill 2 people, and maybe even more people will die. You know? So that's from uncontrolled emotion. that's the opposite of letting go of it. So maybe he needs to spend more time in the sauna or something. I don't know. But, you know, it's not working for him, whatever that is. But I just don't. You know, that stuff is incomprehensible to me. But I don't have those emotions, luckily. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. I'm always intrigued when people say, "You are not your emotions." If they're not you, then who are they?
Yeah. Right.
Oh.
So I think the way to think about that is it's your like and dislike mind. So the Buddha said that the cause of suffering is you like stuff, you don't like stuff, and you're ignorant about stuff. So everybody experiences liking stuff and not liking stuff, right? And then they attach to it, which means they identify with it, you know. So my feelings about Mexicans, I have a very good feeling about Mexicans because I was raised with Mexicans. I always worked with Mexicans. But many Americans have negative feelings about Mexicans. Oh, we don't cross the border. We have to build an 18-foot wall. You know, I know that doesn't work, but it's a good idea. It costs a lot of money, and people make money off of doing it. That's for sure. But it doesn't solve the problem because the problem is in our minds. It's always in our minds. So, yeah, that's why we sit to let go, not to get rid of. So that's I prefer the concept of detachment. You detach from your emotions. It's not that they're not right, and it's not that they are bad or good or anything. You just don't attach to them. Then they're just naturally there. Like I think we're naturally built to have those emotions and stuff. Just like when you jump in a frozen pond, your body will naturally react. So is that you? Yeah, it is you. But don't attach to it. And that could be said of everything, right? So that in Buddhism, that's what we call wisdom. It isn't anything special. It just comes from your own personal experience. So if you've ever been in a sauna, you know what she's talking about. If you haven't been in one, you don't know what the hell she's talking about. Right. So after the talk, go down and get in the sauna. It'll be an interesting experience if it's working. Yeah, go ahead.
In the school we talk a lot about the before thinking mind, I guess
what?
The before thinking mind.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, I guess I have a hard time differentiating because a lot of times the idea of kind of like going with your gut or going with kind of like your first impulse sometimes seems to be like that is the thing that incorporates all of our like biases and our racism and all this stuff that's like in our brains and the kind of like and so I think a lot of times in the I guess like we talk about like educating ourselves out of some of those biases right. and trying to like to learn to like I'm not going to go I'm going to like create a process around this so that it's going to be like a little bit less biased and try to sort of like undo some of the bias that comes from just from our minds. And so I guess I'm trying to figure out those things feel like they're kind of in tension where like sometimes our first impulse is what right. incorporates and like encodes all that bias, and then sometimes we talk about it as the thing that's like before all that bias, and I'm just not sure how to
right. Exactly.
come to terms with that.
So that's what in Buddhism we call it direction. So why are you doing it? So you're not just sitting here to sonatize your mind. You're here to gain wisdom. And actually, some people say that Buddhism is about non-attachment. It's actually about attachment. It's about attachment to helping people. So it proposes this self which helps people, and so that's your direction or your intention. So it's all about intention. Of course, your intention is your intention. It's not somebody else's. Does that make sense? I don't know. Yeah. It's funny because we're always talking about detachment, but it's actually not about detachment. It's about wanting to help people. So that's not detachment, that's attachment of a particular kind. So we talk about, there's big reasons to do things and there's small reasons to do things. And the small reason you go to a sauna is because I want to relax. I want to feel, I just love the feeling of the heat. But there might be a big reason to go to the sauna, and that would be to experience this letting go thing that you experience when you're there. So that you might say, since you run your mind rather than your mind running you, kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Hi, maybe I'm attached to this. So when people say, I'm not my mind or I'm not my breath or something, are they trying to communicate that you shouldn't over-identify with those things?
Right.
Maybe we should say,
let go.
I'm not just my breath?
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Because those things are always going to exist because you're a human being. Hello. So it's natural to have likes and dislikes. It's the big difference is how much are you attached to them. So if they control, like this guy that shot these people down at Brown University yesterday, he must have been, this is a theory because he's a person of interest. It's not that interesting actually, is that he was completely controlled by some desire to kill people for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it happens, Look at the Nazis, like in World War II, they killed a lot of people, so where does that come from? But then when you try them, they're such boring people in those Nuremberg trials. The people that did that are idiots. It's not interesting at all, but they killed a lot of people, right? And the same thing is true of slavery in this country. What we did to the Native Americans. I mean, we're a great country, really? Look at all the crap we've done. So it's not special that this happens. The question is, what are you going to do about it? And the only thing that you can do about it is, do something about it, which is, in our case, practice. And it's not interesting at all. I mean, maybe going to the sauna is interesting, I don't know, for about 5 minutes, and the interest part goes away, and you're just sitting there, oh God, when's this over? Maybe, I don't know. Or if you like sauna, you want to stay. I don't know. I like saunas, but I never do it. I don't know.
Okay, I got a question for you. Sorry, I had to jump over here because I can't push the button. Anyway, what's on my mind lately is all this social distance that we have these days. And everyone is so busy, like we don't have really time to, know ourselves.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that's my question is like, how do we help people today? It's a different paradigm now. The kids growing up have a different reality than we did. Certainly you. You're not even a boomer, you're before that, right?
Yeah, right. I'm I'm just before the hippie. What do they call? What?
Greatest generation?
The what?
Greatest generation?
No, definitely not.
I'm not saying this, they just call me
Modesty.
It's the one just before the hippies. What's that?
That's the boomers.
No?
Yes.
But pre-hippie era.
Yeah, right. What's it called though?
Silent generation.
No, it's not that. Something else.
Dark Ages.
Right, the Dark Ages. Thank you. Neanderthals, right. It's amazing what they know about Neanderthals now. Because I used to teach that in university, and everything they find out, what we used to teach is wrong. Like Neanderthals are really smart.
I don't think they had a name for people before boomers.
Oh yeah, they did.
It's called, the ChatGPT said it's the silent generation.
Oh, okay.
No, what is it?
You know, the Great Depression.
Between the depression, between the depression and the Vietnam War, what were they called?
That wasn't the question, by the way.
Yeah, but
I know I'm trying to avoid the question. Come on, give me a break here.
How do you teach people today, you know, with this busy life and no end of distraction?
Right.
There's so many.
That's always been true, though.
Yeah.
So maybe you spent your time chasing buffaloes around, and now you spend your time chasing data around, or something. I don't know. Human beings always come up with something to chase around their ideas, you know. So that's not new. Yeah.
Maybe I could do a little different on what he said. I was talking to someone earlier. And the thing is that, Sanim, you and myself, we're the age where when we were outside, we played all day outside. We throw snowballs, we
I
run
did
around.
too, right.
The kids don't do that nowadays. They're at home and they're on the computers. So if you got a totally different mind that's appearing. So that's a wonder about maybe how to deal with those kind of folks.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't know. It's always, I do know it's always something new, no matter what it is. So this will go away too. Like in, what country is it? Australia, they just banned 16-year-olds and younger from being on media. I don't know how they'll do that practically, but the interesting law. But then other countries, like countries in Europe, say, "Oh, we will never do that." And Meghan and what's Meghan's husband's name? Prince something. What? Prince Harry, right. They just came out with a statement that said, it's not about banning it, it's about controlling it so it can be productive. And that makes sense, but I don't think Meghan and Harry will be running social media, but they know how to play it, that's for sure. Yeah. So those kinds of things are always changing.
Okay, we got another question.
So maybe a little what to do with what Cam was saying, in that he's talking about this, are you your emotions, yeah? But then what about, like, there's a sign at Wage-sa that says, don't make anything in the 24 hours. In the 24 hours, maybe you saw that, it's in Korean at Wage-sa, but it says, don't make anything in the 24 hours of the day.
It's gonna be a joke.
No, it's not.
It's gonna be 24 hours.
Yeah, you just
No, you don't know what you're saying. No, what it is that there's this part of your emotions that you make. So then who is making that, and how?
Right.
And where's the point where you have emotion, somebody smacks you upside the head, and you get angry, but then there's that part where you carry on that anger,
Right.
Right.
So there's all these teaching words. So making and holding and all those kind of things are teaching words to point out to you how your mind works. And when you go into the sauna, you see how your mind works. Maybe, or maybe not. So all these are kind of like techniques, like the sitting that we do, or the chanting, or somebody mentioned bowing. Those are all techniques to allow you to let go of your thinking, because most human beings are controlled by their thinking. So I don't know this guy that killed all these people at university yesterday, at the Brown University yesterday, but I imagine that he's controlled by certain, in his case, probably anger, and he expresses it by killing people, which is not so good, right? But then you have, you have the Holocaust, you have all this stuff. Yes.
I'm a little bit confused, or maybe I'm getting clarity at the same time, but I'm hearing that, like, we're supposed to let go and detach from our emotions, but also accept them. Is that one and the same thing?
Yes, those are different terms for the same thing. So there'll be thousands of terms for that, but it's not to that you, it's kind of like you have the emotions, but you don't let them control you. So I really don't like people who wear hats in the Dharma room. You know, so what? You know, it's like that. So,
Yeah.
you know, you could...
Can I add something?
Sure, of course.
I think when we say, yeah, I understand that your question, that it seems contradictory to talk about acceptance and letting go, but I think it's when we want things to be different as they are, including our emotion, it's when we are getting attached to them.
Right.
We are getting attached to wanting that emotion away. So letting go is let it be and let it do its life, right?
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
So attachment can take the form of accepting it, like we're attached to it,
Yeah,
or
holding it,
or
rejecting
fighting it,
Yeah.
and that means we don't like it, right? Yeah. But and it's over. So don't
Do
attach
not
to
get
it.
attached to the Dharma talks.
He's going to the sauna, actually.
Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you, very much for your wonderful teaching. What happened? My announcement's changed too. Everything is changing. In point of fact, you could actually go to the sauna right now. Just leave a few bucks, and remember, you break it, you buy it. Just a few announcements. First of all, we, as some of you who were here know, we had Buddha's Enlightenment Day ceremonies yesterday. So we just wanted to give a congratulations to our new Jida Popsanim, Tony Sager, and some of our preceptees, Letitia, Christian Mark, and a lot of other ones from other sanghas. We will have our Wednesday night Kangan interviews with Kwan Hang Sim this Wednesday. We also have a self-guided retreat starting on New Year's Eve. And this is something we're trying for the first time. And the way it will work is you can come Wednesday night, have dinner with the Sangha, relax, and wait for midnight practice. Then you do the midnight practice. Then you can actually stay over for free. And then you have a slightly late breakfast. And then we're going to have yoga in the morning, guided hike in the afternoon. Same thing the following day. And then on Saturday, we have Foundations of Zen workshop, which is, it's a little different from our usual retreats where there'll be a lot of talking about the history of Buddhism, history of our lineage, etc. And you can also you can come for the day on Thursday or Friday. If you need more information, let me know, and I am happy to fill you in. Other than that, we do have in our gallery an art sale of original drawings by Senior Dharma teacher Willie Garver. It's at the end of the front hallway, so check that out. And it has suggested prices on it. It's all the proceeds are donated to PZC, and so you can give more, you can give less. And you can enjoy a beautiful original drawing. And last but not least, is there anyone here who can open the gift shop for half an hour? Okay. In that case, I will open the gift shop for half an hour, so make sure if you're on your way out, pick something up. Thank you so much.